So, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our show again. Let's talk tourism on this Sunday. We know this time, well, we had it a little bit earlier. Usually, we used to have it at 7, but today, we have to have it at 5, right? Our guest for today is Babita Dubay from My Beach, My Water, and she has her own business, and it's very interesting. I looked at the Instagram page, and it seemed very interesting and very um catchy in a sense that it captures your attention in terms of what they do, and if you like um climate change and environment and this type of stuff, this is this is the place to be. This is the place to look at. This is the business to go to, right? um for today, well, right now we have on the show, we have some executive members. Just like them to introduce themselves. So go ahead, guys.
Hi, Mr. Vita and everyone else. My name is Chris Alexander, and I'm one of the alumni members.
Satish, Mr. President.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much, Babita, for joining us. My name is Satish, and thank you all for joining.
Jamila, you can go ahead and introduce yourself. If not Jamila, Natalia, you can go ahead.
Hi, I'm Natalia Sandy. I am one of the event coordinators.
All right, guys. So let's get into it. Um, so Bavita, right? My beach, my water, right? How did that come about?
Well, my beach, my water. Well, hi everybody. First of all, thanks for having me on this show. I'm really excited to be on here. As I was telling Satish. Well, sorry, it's Satish. You pronounce your name right? Well, I think it's a mix with the pronunciation. So yeah. So my beach, my water started off based on an experience I had with rip currents when I was actually on the beach in Cancun, and I wanted to be able to understand what had happened during that experience and learn from the experts, the lifeguards, and everybody else who knows about beaches. One of the things that came out about that, which is something I was mentioning to Carissa when we were prepping for this chat, is that I understand that the locals actually know a lot about their beaches. And if you go to them, they might be the local experts who will be able to tell you, what happens on a daily basis or even on an hourly basis. They really understand the dynamics of the beachfront, along with other experts, people who study the beaches and the lifeguards and that kind of thing. So from that, we had an app to give people information about the beaches in Trinidad and Tobago. We started off with Trinidad and Tobago, and we want to put safety information on there. Well, we did that. We put safety information. We created a platform for lifeguards to go on, and they could enter when they put the red flags there on Maracas. They could go and enter it on the app. And if you visit the beach as well, you can put where you see the red flags are out, but also other things you could input. So you could have inputted seaweed, like if you see seaweed on the beach, if you saw garbage on the beach. And the reason I called it my beach, my water was I saw it as taking ownership for the experience that you have on the beach and also to be in harmony with the environment. So that's how the whole environmental part started. And from there, I expanded to sell products that you could come to the beach and enjoy it, but not impact the environment negatively. And from there, we now expand. First, we say like you're having my beach, my water, safe, sustainable enjoyment of the beach, but we have expanded now to healthy, sustainable island living. And it's really still about like, like seeing that the beach is really your responsibility. So that's why the My Beach, My Water part of it.
Um, I asked the question because I really like the name. The name just something about that name just captures my attention, and I'm sure
Right.
it does the same for others as well. Like maybe, and I'm glad you explained that you guys what you guys really do in terms of the app and stuff, and that app is a really convenient tool in terms of
Yeah.
to get people are prepared before they actually get to the beach. They are well informed, right? I think that is really um in terms of sustaining the industry and going forward and embracing technology. I think it's a really good initiative, right? Um, Other than the My Beach by Water, tell us about yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, maybe we make somewhere say I'm a tea lover. So I have my tea here, but that's something that first came to mind because I do now run something called Thinking Tuesdays on Instagram Live every Tuesday. That's just something different. It is linked to the store on My Beach, My Water. But that is where I want people to come together and talk about low waste living and social entrepreneurship, as well as STREAM, which is science, technology, reading, engineering, arts, and mathematics. Myself, I have an engineering background. So I've worked as an engineer for a number of years. And My Beach, My Water actually started off being founded at a startup weekend. So I pitched it there, and then it was something as a hobby first. And I started to do it full time really in early 2019. Um, well, in terms of social entrepreneurship as well, yeah. So My Beach, My Water is a people, planet, profit business. I know I kind of talking more about My Beach as well as myself, but kind of, I guess because I'm really passionate about my business, that kind of comes across a lot. These things when you do startups and you, like, I'm the founder of it, you kind of, sometimes it's hard to kind of disassociate yourself from it. So I do have people, because I do a lot of artisan markets, like call me My Beach, My Water. So, and this is one of the things too with businesses like these. I mean, usually kind of with in the beginning, or especially early stage, like startup businesses, without the person, sometimes the whole thing would collapse. So,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm at that stage where I'm building a team, I'm looking to build a team. So, I mean, I know of people who looking at this who are university students, and I mean, I'm really happy to be on this show because I actually started off on UWI campus. I actually
Mm-hmm.
had written to the principal and I explained to him that how we have this startup and it was a co-founder because I had the guy who did the app. He's no longer in the business. We exited from each other when I made the physical store that I'm sitting in right now, which is in Macbean Village in Couver, which is my
Mm-hmm.
hometown. So that's another thing that I'm excited about, that I put the store here. So it's just very close to where I live and grew up, and my family has been living in this area for over 50 years. So when we started the store, in terms of the investment side and stuff, we made some decisions. But
Mm-hmm.
he was the app developer. So I mean, we still have a cordial relationship, and he actually has a cocoa estate. So I sell some of his cocoa in the store, and we still probably would collaborate and do things. So the app sort of took a backseat for the while because in terms of the monetization of the app. But so really the business is mainly me now in terms of the technical sides and that kind of thing. But I am looking to grow a team, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the time spent was developing the sustainable products. So it came. My background is in chemical engineering, and I have a master's
Wow.
specialization in environmental engineering. So it
Mm-hmm.
took like when I was doing all this stuff, it kind of got into more like natural sunscreen development, different
Mm-hmm.
lotions. I do solid shampoo and conditioner bars and different things like that. So my chemistry, chemical engineering kind of side is what I was pushing. But I do want to continue with the app. So I'm going to be in Tobago, the My Beach, My Water, with the
Mm-hmm.
Plant and Seeds platform over the Easter weekend. So that's a big in terms of tourism, because it's a big event happening at the Grand Kula Spa. They form a relationship with them, and the whole Plant and Seeds platform, all their vendors who registered for the event are going over there to sell, and they having day passes and like things for children to come and enjoy horse riding and stuff on the beach, and all these local artisans that are going to be selling there, or whoever is on the Plant and Seeds platform. So for that, we've been talking about making sure like we could expand the app to put some of the key beaches in Tobago at least. So I've worked out a relationship with them, and hopefully with my ex co-founder to hopefully do some of that. But when I came on campus, we were like so I was co-founder, it was me and him. But I wrote to the principal, and then he gave us permission, and I got linked up with the right groups of people. So I was selling, and I know some of you guys from the society would have met me there. I met Satish then. Actually in the when I was on campus, they used to call it the big gaff. I don't know what you all call it nowadays, but is where where KFC and stuff is. So I started to sell there, and I had all these like hats and beach bag things and my different soaps and stuff. And I met a lot of people on campus then. And really, I think that is the demographic I wanted to reach out to, because I wanted people who were thinking, who would think about science and other things that would affect the society, and wanted to do things new, change things. And a lot of people in that age group also care more so passionately about the environment and making changes to protect the environment. And I did meet a lot of people like that there. And I also did some work and collaborations with the student energy group on UWI campus. So we'll probably talk about that a little bit later.
And my next question after this one was going to ask you what products do you offer, but I'm really glad that you actually went into the products that you offer. And what I like the most about that response from before is that you tied your profession, you tied your background into what you're doing now. Because when I heard chemical and correct me if I'm wrong, chemical
Environmental.
and environmental and then we started talking about making sunscreen and stuff. That just ties that into the tourism industry and creating a sustainable industry in terms of making stuff that is healthy for the climate. So yeah, I really like that response, right? Um, I see one of your bags in the background.
Yeah.
Other than the bags, right? I think you spoke about hats. What else?
Well, I do have a natural insect repellent that is very popular. So let me just get a chance. I can probably show you. I should have brought some in front of the screen. So like for instance, this is a natural insect repellent. So I've had a lot of people tell me that this works really well for them. They've used it in the swamp and they didn't get bitten. And this one is a spray type. And then I sell it in a smaller dropper version because it's pretty strong. So you can either just put small drops on your wrist and behind your ears and ankles. In this case, because it's insect repellent, you need to put it on your ankles. Or you could use the spray one just like a spray, like a perfume, and probably if there's a lot of mosquitoes and stuff, you can probably spray around you a bit too. So this is just one of it, but a lot of my products come in these kind of glass refillable bottles that people could return to us. And that's the whole part of the circular economy.
So recycling as well.
Yeah, so a lot of everything that I do, I have also hand sanitizers that I sell in the same bottle. And it comes in a pouch if you want a pouch to carry it around. So it's those kind of things that I sell that wouldn't have a lot of chemicals in it that would harm the water quality and the environment, as well as not creating waste. So I try to, as much as possible, to have a low waste lifestyle being encouraged by using our products and following our brand.
All right, thanks. We're gonna get into the presentation now.
Right.
Confirm if you're seeing these slides.
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
All right, so I think you spoke about when you entered UWI. I think this is UWI on the campus.
Yeah, so I did a lot of collaborations with them and giveaways. When I was on campus, I linked to them because they into renewable energy, so it's a very environmental type group. And they had stuff. This would have been for orientation week, and they had something, and they invited me, and I was giving away one of the bags, as well as they had a water bottle, and you had to answer questions about renewable energy. And I even came and I helped in their store, like for your orientation week. I think this would have been in 2019.
All right. tell us a little bit about this photo.
Right. So in terms of traveling, this is when COVID hit, right? People couldn't travel. So this is part of a series that I developed with giveaways on my Instagram for My Beach, My Water, where I was saying to people they should share their memories of when they did travel, so people wouldn't feel so locked down. And I tried to do it around either seaside towns or beach towns. So this is where I had taken a trip to outside of Seattle. This is an island, so it's very much like an island living and near the beach. This is a place called Whitby Island, and I had gone. I like writing as well as a hobby, so I'd gone to this place, and there's a little like cabin in the woods, literally. And people were troubling me about I'm going to a cabin in the woods like in a movie, because it's actually to be by yourself in solitude to write. And you had to take a ferry. So I rented this car. You see this fancy car here, and it's not an eco car, but I didn't really choose that car. But in the US, when you rent cars, you kind of end up and then they upgrade you. So that was what was available. So I had this big fancy car in Seattle that I was kind of nervous to drive, and I had to go on the ferry. So we are on the slides now. So this is another one. I think it came out the presentation. I'm not hearing you. I don't know if are you hearing me?
Oh, Alex, you're muted.
Yeah, I think he probably pressed when the slides kind of went off. But if you're hearing me, I could probably just continue to talk about
I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you.
But the presentation went off.
It's a little bit. So yeah, that's the life of technology.
No, well, we'll just talk about the side, and then you can move to the next one, because the first one was with Whitby Island. So it's an island, and you go over by ferry, just like how we go over to Tobago. And that is where I spent a week. And so it is really, and it did make me feel a bit like Tobago. I mean, it's just like a bigger scale version in that you come from Seattle, which is a much bigger city than if you're in Trinidad. Well, Trinidad could be the whole city in this case, and then you go over to Whitby Island. And anyway, in terms of tourism, I really chose that side in particular, because when I was there, I was seeing a lot of things that was making me think of, like, tourism in Tobago. So in one of the pictures here at the bottom, that's me in the right and retreat in the center, but at the below part, that's a farmer's market I drove to. Up in the right-hand side corner is a organic type grocery that I went and shop in, and that big dog, the owners, it was an Airbnb, so next door they had owned that dog. I know it was an elderly dog, so by now he may not be alive anymore, but he was very nice, like to come out and interact with and that kind of thing. So you could probably go to the other slide.
So where is this?
This one is in Barcelona. So when I saw somebody was asking me, one of my business coaches that I had, because I am a Shell Livewire graduate. For anybody looking on who probably wanted to join the youth business, TT runs the Shell Livewire program in Trinidad, and you can get a lot of business coaching and advice on stuff in it. It's a good program if you want to develop your business further. It's a businesses that are about 2 years old already registered. So it's an accelerator program. So your business have to be making revenue for 2 years to join the program. And it's for anybody all the way up to 45 years of old. Age is not, they've extended the youth category in this case. But I had somebody was asking about, you can go back to the slide, you missed the slide again. So yeah, but when what I did was, like, when I started My Beach, My Water, one of my coaches was asking about who starts a business and then they go on vacation. But My Beach, My Water was, I was working full time as an engineer. It was founded, and then when I used to work at Petrotrans, so I don't really, it's no secret. So it's like when it closed, I had this break that I had never gone to Europe. When they did the changes with the visa, so I said it's easier. I never went to Europe before because of the visa issues, but when you didn't have to get a visa anymore, it was easier. So I did this sort of trip, and I know people asking me, because you're a UWI Tourism, right? So people asking me after this European trip if I could set up tours for them, because I did this on my own with my own sort of freelancing kind of. I didn't take a tour or join up with anybody, and people were looking at it on social media, and they thought it was looking like something like that. People asking, they want to take their wife to Europe, if I could like explain to them how to go about it, because they find it sounding interesting, right? So this is in Barcelona, but I already had my beach, my water started up. In fact, I had already come to UWI, I think, for one market, and then I went off on this trip that I always wanted to do to different European cities. So this is in Barcelona. So I took my beach, my water bag with me throughout the trip, and so I didn't have to get any plastic
So
bags or
this
no.
brand is international.
Yeah, and it was what was cool about it too is that when I started to tag people on social media in Barcelona, I got people following my beach, my water from Barcelona and from tourist areas, like tourist things in Barcelona. And Barcelona is a really interesting city in that it's actually a big city, and you can actually walk to the beach, and you're actually on a beach. So you see where city life changes into a seaside beach life. So this is my
All
feet
right,
and the
interesting.
oceans, yeah.
Um,
The other side, I guess. So
I guess I'm seeing part of Tobago, so
yeah, well, this again, all these slides I'm sharing with you guys is from the giveaway when we were about the memories during. This was when there was a major lockdown that happened in 2020. So I was giving away hand sanitizers. So I started to make hand sanitizers early on when people couldn't get it. Again, we were talking about my background. I had good linkages to get isopropyl alcohol and that kind of thing. And I guess they know how to. So I was following the WHO formulation. I mean, I still follow the WHO formulation. So it was pretty easy for me to get this done when a lot of people didn't have hand sanitizers. So it made me feel
all
kind
right.
of like doing something positive as well. Because I mean, the prices were still expensive, because when I got the raw materials for the rest of it, it was still sky high. So people probably thought I was being sleazy in some sense with the pricing, but that was really realistic pricing at the time. And I did a giveaway though. So I mean, this was like where I was giving away these 2 hand sanitizers as part of the prize, along with the 2 bags. So this is just a montage of that. And this is you see where I mixed up with the pronunciation. This is Satish. So we pronounced it Satish in his name, and he actually is the Kashmiri chaiwala who he's married to my niece. So he's on this, and he's wearing one of the hats that we have made for the brand, My Beach, My Water. We have one of those hats someone say we a lot of it's very popular. We have them in different colors. And yeah, that's Englishman's Bay on the other side, which is a beach that one of the My Beach My Water, we own a painting that is done of Englishman's Bay, and we do prints of that like on t-shirts and stuff.
All right, interesting. Um, Tell us about this photo as well. These photos.
Right. So this montage is of things that would have been in the really early again of My Beach My Water in 2019. And actually here, after Petrotrin closed, I did work in Kariri for a few months, and it was soon after, like between January to around March 2019. And I was on a consultancy contract part-time job, and so I was in UWI campus. So again, that was kind of where I met a lot of young people. I remember going where the guild had a startup. They were trying to encourage businesses like that students had to develop them, and I met some really interesting people, like a guy who sells honey, but it was really his mom's business, I realized after. But this this one in the bottom corner was even before the year before they had this is in UWI, it had a market. I did a market at that stage then, because I only had t-shirts for sale then. It was me and the guy who did the app, and we were really, if you should see how my personality in terms of sale has changed in a couple of years. For anybody want encouragement, that's me in there, and we were just sitting there and we only had t-shirts. So then the guy who organized the market said, but if we did have like more variety of things and stuff, because the t-shirt is 150 and we just sit down there quiet, and the guy with the app, he more quiet than me. And that was a market that just we did, but to see if to tell people about My Beach My Water. But then in early 2019, Plantain Seeds had a free market up by I think Guardian Life give them the building up there that's near Movie Town. And if you're watching the right corner on the top there, that's Dwight York and Russell Latterpy. And Brian Lauer was there, but we didn't get many pictures. So the 3 of them was like together, and they came to my table. What was when they came to the table, I think I wasn't there first. But then I came, I think, after, but they take that picture to show me. Because I was in Kariri, so I wasn't at the actual table. My mom and niece was there. But this is kind of like things when My Beach was now starting off. In the middle is a correlation trip for me with the lifeguards. I did a video. You can see it on my channel where we're talking about rip currents and why they put the red flag. So that was just like the end of the video we recorded, so that people know about being safe
All
on the
right.
beach, and not given the lifeguard that took on there.
All right. Well, we're gonna move into the game session now.
Right.
So give me 1 minute. So let me. So Carissa.
Yeah, I'm here. Good day, everyone. And again, once again, good day, Miss Babita.
Hi, Carissa.
It's loading. Okay, and by the way, Miss Babita, as I told you before, I can give you hints, right?
Okay.
I know the pictures, it's kind of unfair because when I saw them, I was like, oh my goodness, these are beaches in Trinidad and Tobago. Pictures are, it could fool you. Oh my
Well,
God.
I'm sure I probably know half of these because, as I told you, I'm not like the expert, and I kind of just draw information from the people who do all these tour guides and stuff. So yeah.
Right, right. Before we turn this slide, actually, I would like to just read this quote, right?
All right.
And I really want, everybody that is on the segment right now, just to remember that travel opens your heart, it broadens your mind, and it fills your life with stories to tell. So, sometimes you look at, some people tend to be scared to even travel or go anywhere, but it's really good to take that risk, and take that opportunity to even go out there and fill your storybook, right? Next
Yeah.
slide.
Yeah. That's really true.
Yeah.
All right. I sure. So, what is it that you said that all these places are within a particular region or country or something? Is it in the Caribbean? You say,
Okay, no. For this particular segment, I just wanted to keep it in Trinidad and Tobago.
Oh, okay.
All of these beaches that you'll be seeing and the rivers is based in Trinidad, right? So this first one actually fooled me, right? Not even exaggerating. When I don't know if you could take a guess of it just by looking at it, right? But it's beautiful. And it starts with a T. I don't know if that's
With a what? A sea?
T, a T. T as in type.
I don't know. We think I would have to say Toko then.
Right? Oh my God. So, okay, looking at this picture, right? To be very honest, would you have guessed that? Like,
No,
of
well,
the.
I mean, the only thing is that could probably get is that like I don't know if that's you see in that peak and stuff at the back there, but
Right on top, right?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But like the way how they picture the filters, everything, I was like, oh my goodness, this looks beautiful. Wow. But yeah, I couldn't have guessed it off the bat, actually. I couldn't believe it. Next slide. Okay, right. This one. Okay. It's starts. Okay, should I give the letter? Okay, you want to give me a letter, like at least?
I
Yes, no.
I don't know. Because I mean I see like it's like a kind of archipelago kind of thing, right? Because I'm seeing. So my first thought is I taking like some kind of like down the islands thing because I'm seeing little islands.
Okay, actually, you're really good at this, to be very honest. Like, it is down the island. And okay, honestly, down the islands is beautiful. Like, back off it, right? It is beautiful. I've even seen it in person as well too. It is beautiful, right? So no lie with this picture on a whole, right? I really like it. I even got it. This picture didn't fool me, right? Oh my God. But just to
Oh,
give
Richard's
like, what is
Bacon.
your thoughts? What is your
What is
thoughts
this
on?
about on Richard's Bacon show? on the Maracas Lookout.
Hello?
Yeah, no, sorry, is it that you're not hearing me?
Yeah. No, I was asking, like, what is your thoughts on Donkey Island?
Oh no, yeah, the slide came up. That's what I think caused the confusion. Yeah, I heard all it. I've not been there, but when I was like in my 20s and stuff, I know I spent a lot of time going down there, and it was actually back then it was cheaper to go down there. I mean, you could have gone Gaspery Cave, something much cheaper, as like $100 for the boat and stuff. I think then the prices went up, and given that I spent a lot of time when I was a younger down there, like I used to go often. At one point, one of my relatives had access to a house there for a little while. I remember I spent a weekend on one of the houses already too. So yeah, it's lovely. It's a nice getaway, and a lot of people actually have property and thing there to go, and they go weekends. So this with COVID, it had some people who were there fully in lockdown and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. So everybody know that every time on this particular show, right? Like
Yeah.
all my for some reason I always place Donkey Island. Somehow I try to fit it in there, right? I try to fit like, a picture of Donkey Island. I love Donkey Island, right? So
Right.
I'm sure everybody, like all the members, everybody should know by now. But okay. So the next slide, right? I'm sure all of the bad. What did you say that it was?
Well, because I saw Richard's Bacon Shack, and I was thinking like Maracas Lookout. So
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
Remember when I told you I would give you like a little hint? I'll put like little things in there.
Yeah, but this one, I mean, this one is iconic kind of thing. And I mean, I don't know if you know about. Okay,
Oh.
so most of the people I
Mhm.
work with in my beach, my water, but I started off actually our first beach adopted beach was to be Las Cuevas because they had blue flag certification, and then I
Yeah.
unfortunately ended up losing it and stuff. But I couldn't work then because of the access to the beaches. How Las Cuevas was with the car park, and then you had to go down. We didn't see that it would have electricity points, and then we moved to Maracas, and then because we were going to like try to see a weather station and think possibilities of those things to feed that information to the app. I mean, practicality in terms of financing would have been the biggest challenge. But when we got into Maracas, they started the big renovation in Maracas. But I work with the North Coast lifeguards, so basically they move between Las Cuevas, Maracas, Tyrico. So I used to go up to Maracas a lot, working with them, and then I have a birthday ritual that I always go to Maracas Beach early in the morning. I like to go before anybody is there, and so yeah, so I would have guessed this, hopefully, without any hints.
Whoa, whoa. So how was that experience though? Like early in the morning before everybody is there.
Yeah, well, you have to be careful too. Like I do tell people when I want to go early. I mean, you have to be extra careful because the lifeguards don't come out until 10, and so
Yeah.
the beach isn't guarded. But I mean, I usually when I say early, I mean like by 9, so they kind of start coming out and stuff. If so they kind of around, and then to leave 11. I just try to leave before the rush. The earlier you go, I
Yeah.
mean, probably in terms of your safety, you have to consider that too. But to me, it's more like an birthday ritual. I go early, like I might do some, I kind of come out of my hydroponic garden and I might do some prayer routine. I kind of started now going to the Hanuman temple as a thing I didn't used to do before, but I kind of last few years put that into as part of the routine really early. And then I go, well, I have a pet turtle as well, just like I have because my pet turtle, then I go by my hydroponics, I go to the Hanuman temple, then I go to Maracas. So that's something that I like doing. Sometimes the timing isn't always as early as I want it, but I still try to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's reasonable. Yeah. Okay. So okay, I'm sure it could it's the same thing.
Yeah. I've seen the lifeguard station something. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to give like a different angle, to be honest.
But
But
isn't
this
this one now Las Vegas? Yeah, this is Las
yeah,
Vegas now. I remember that was my first beach and thing, so yeah, I know. Kind of, yeah. So I
right.
was bad when I was getting worried that I wouldn't be
I,
the expert, but
told you. See, I told you. I was like, it's pretty easy. Like once you start looking
yeah.
at the entrance and then the
No,
low
but
key,
when you were telling me, right? So okay, when you were telling me about this game, I thought you were gonna be telling me about like I have people who I've sell their photography stuff and thing in the store, and they just go and take these photos in these really remote places that you have to be an expert hiker to reach and stuff like that. And I was like, sometimes you see it and then the angle that they
yeah,
take it from, and yeah.
I know. Yeah,
So this is
yeah.
Tobago.
I really try to like do it, so that you could
Right, so
actually
mean
see
tourists, like places that people go as tourists, really, to the average tourist, not like somebody
as well.
who's yeah.
Definitely. But this place, yes, this is Tobago, of course. But you wanna guess the beach in Tobago or
Well, Pigeon Point.
yeah.
Yeah, actually, the person I was looking at my mom and the underneath the coconut tree.
Oh my god. Thing is though, fun fact, I've never been to Pigeon Point, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
No, and then another thing that some people might think is that you have to pay $20 to get into Pigeon Point.
Oh.
With the band, the whole thing with the bands and stuff.
Yeah.
If you want to go and use the facilities, yeah, that's what it is.
Okay. Well, I know now.
In terms of environmental stuff at Tobago, there's somebody they've now this big fish that is made out of a frame, a wire frame, a metal frame, and they throw plastic bottles in it to fill it up as a decorative thing. So it's I guess like eco that kind of thing, at least you're making sure that the bottles in there, not out in the ocean.
I love that. I love that idea. Oh my goodness. Tobago is just hitting it right now. That's really good. That's nice.
Okay, so rivers might be tougher, yeah.
This is on my list, so Pigeon Point. So we're going to rivers, right? I wish we had a little song in the background, but yeah. So we're going to tour the rivers. Next slide. Okay.
I don't but this is not a river. I think that one is the swamp.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I mean, like a Caroni River, I guess, but I think in the Caroni Bird Sanctuary. Yeah. I mean, you can even see the birds jumping up on that side.
Right there. See, I told you that. I would make it too hard. Like,
I tell them my insect repellent too kind of famous down in the swamp there. Again, I'm going there.
I could
prices go. I mean, I've gone there, but I could say now what I've understand from one of my customers, I think, put up the photos. One of the things, I mean, I tell you how the price going up and I need to go down the islands. And if you went plenty times before, it's kind of make me think, well, I don't want to go back. It is much more expensive. Like if I used to go for 100 TT and now it's 100 US, and I went down there plenty times. But the swamp apparently there's a new tour where you can go and dine at like have dinner on the sunset, and I think that's really cool. I think it's Dana that is running that now.
Oh.
So that's something that I'm trying with a group of people.
They introduced it.
Yeah.
But how long have they introduced it?
But I don't know. I learned about it in the last few months, and I don't know. I mean, I guess with COVID too, but I suppose if you're going as with your family, you're going, so it's people that you probably will screen with or social isolate with or something. But I don't know. It looks like it's pretty recent.
Yeah, I feel it's recent too because I went I think it was earlier last year, like before COVID even happened, and yeah, I think so. But next slide.
Yeah. Nariva? I don't know.
Yeah, Nariva.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, pretty. This is like when you guess in the game and you think, and then you win the prize. Like,
yes.
Leave it
I got it. Oh my god. Imagine like on Family Feud and you got this and like it's like 500 points went up. Yeah. Oh my god. Okay, so the next one, I think I should like turn off this a little bit.
Yeah, just so I'm seeing the blue thing, and is that like bioluminescent?
Yeah, right. Okay, so the river starts with like a O, right?
Oh right, no, but no, it makes that's Ottawa.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's Ottawa Mayaro. There's a bioluminescence phenomenon that happens down on Mayaro. And a fun fact or interesting thing with my beach is that a guy put it up on Facebook. I asked the fellow, is that Mayaro? He tell me yes, so I wasn't like intentionally misleading people. So I shared it on my beach, my water, and it was beautiful bioluminescence. And then apparently it was some other beach, but it's really pretty still, but it was some other part of the world. So my beach, my water started to get like all these people like, well, first of all, the picture became I was pretty viral. Like I went from, this was early on, which I mean I wasn't really doing much business with my beach at the time yet. It was like I had about 200 or something likes, and then it went up to 800 and something likes on Facebook. And this happened in a matter of days because of the photo. And so I was
Right.
wondering what happened. And people were messaging me to ask me, and then people wanted to know if I knew about the bioluminescence tour, like how to go and when, and if it was right now appearing. And
Right.
I had to get in touch with the lifeguards and Mayaro. But because of the distance, I went down there, but because of the distance and also my thing with, like, you have to see this at night, and with crime, I don't want to be going down some road
Course.
as the reality. And because I had to check with the lifeguards, I'm checking with the police station, and I was telling people that. So but yeah, this is probably at the point where, and it's a condition. So what I understand is that if it's raining, you won't be able to see the bioluminescence. So it's these little creatures that they're like fireflies or something under there, and it's also based on a seasonal thing. So it's a pretty thing that does actually happen in.
Yeah. I actually saw it and I was like, oh my god, I want to experience this. Like, I actually want to see it.
Is this supported from your experience, that, or is this just so?
No, actually, no, I found this on the internet, like, just,
Okay, right,
through everything, trying to get the perfect photo.
right.
Yeah. But it's really nice. It's really cool. So, actually, we have come to the end of our gaming segment. I try to make it like really short because I know we'll be like, conversating, through this, right? But again, I'd like to say thank you for being here. Thank you for having us. As well too. It's been an honor, right, for you being our guest, and I even look forward to even learning more about your business as well too. So I turn you over to Alex.
Okay, thanks, Carissa.
So,
All right, thanks, Carissa, for the presentation. Really enjoyed it. And guys, Babita, you actually expressed certain points where I think some people actually in terms of the misconception and stuff. I like how you actually handle that situation. And sometimes we get ourselves into stuff like that, yeah. But I enjoy the game session, right? Um, so let's get back into the discussion, right? Um, you mentioned before, right, that you used to work at Petrotrin, and we know what happened to Petrotrin. Then you went full time into this business, right?
Yeah.
Um, how have COVID affected you in terms of the pandemic started last year, right? Being in this business full time, how has COVID affected you?
When when COVID hit, I have a physical store now, as you're saying, in MacBean in Vancouver. It's opposite
Mm-hmm.
the original Capitol Resource Center on the MacBean stretch. I opened here in October 2020. But when COVID started off, my sales points would have been in artisan markets mainly. I had a website that the same guy who was my co-founder, we had a website easy because he was able to put up the website pretty early on before everybody got websites now post COVID. But we really never advertised the website much. So you never really had many people going on there to shop online on it. So I used to go to markets and that kind of thing. And then the markets were actually closed. And then when they slowly tried to open up, it was pretty restricted. So sales, would have been much lower than before. The good thing is, I guess, that people were having the markets, like up to at least even me, I had a session in Hyatt. And Upmarket had a really good session in Napa in February or something during carnival time or just around then. And then everything started to close down further and further. So it was pretty uncertain. I was part of the Shell Life Wire program at that time, so we had a lot of support networks because everybody in the cohort and we had all these people advising us. And we did flag that the Shell Life Wire program was a really good support system during that time. And I had we saw the thing with the hand sanitizer giveaway. It was a kind of way to feel happy for me to do that giveaway because I started to share all my memories of the pictures and putting them together and getting other people beach memories. And I was able to have some sales because of the hand sanitizers as well. So it had some spike in sales because I was doing hand sanitizers, which a lot of people, who started to sell hand sanitizers and masks and that kind of thing was a pivot that they did during a time when the other sales would have been low. But I had launched my solid shampoo and conditioner bars just before, and in Green Market they had the Citrus Festival, and then I curtailed that and I moved towards focusing on
Mm-hmm.
different things. But it slowly started to pick back up, and some people were not aware, but like in Green Market there was still a market in July last year. It had Christmas in July, it wasn't so bad, and slowly people started to have like those outdoor markets could be spaced out, and Then at the same time, what was happening is that people were starting to put online platforms for people to sell on. So planting seeds started off sometime in May, and they would
Right.
actually come and pick up your product and take it to the person
Mm-hmm.
who had in charge. And what they had was early adopters. So everybody who locked in for them early on, which I luckily was one of the early adopters, got a really low rate. Later on, the price went up, but I'm still so far in that program with planting seeds where I'm on their platform, and it's like more for more. So you have more people being pushed to the same place. So you have more chance of selling your stuff online there. So those were some of
All
the
right.
things that happened during COVID to help the business to keep going.
All right. Thanks for letting us know that how COVID actually how you managed through the COVID pandemic. Oh, and well, it's still happening now, and I sure you're still
Yeah.
along well, right? Um, we know the type of products. Before I go into more detail into the different products and what why they come about and what are the benefits. Let me ask you this question: are there any challenges you face with offering sustainable products? And are there any resistance from people? Are people skeptical before choosing your products?
The people who not into that thing sometimes try to take, well, okay, like I know too in terms of well, not in people using it, but like okay, when I pitch to like I notice like business things to get funding and grants, people tend to think that eco people are this small group of people, and then first of all, I try to explain to them that just because something is eco, it doesn't mean that somebody who unfortunately doesn't care really, but they should care, but they
Mhm.
can still use it because it's a good product. Like if this insect repellent works really well, because I try to be careful that I'm putting it on glass thing so you don't throw it away. Even if you throw it away, remember glass will still break down. Even I mean, glass is something that's infinitely recyclable. It's from sand originally. You know when they do all the things to get glass, it's a natural process to end up getting glass. It is plus some plastic on it because it has the head. It's plastic. But the point is, I try to encourage people to keep reusing it. But even if you didn't care about that, this thing would work well. So it's kind of trying to understand that I'm not just doing the eco thing because I'm doing the eco thing. It's actually good products. It's a good brand. I want so, which is why I expanded out and I say it's a it's healthy, sustainable island living. So I mean, it's just being enjoyable, enjoying the islands, the Caribbean, being healthy. So it's not just eco, and that's something that you need to explain to people because something is eco, it doesn't make it less beneficial to you. It can be just as the best product ever and also be eco-friendly. One of the other challenges, though, is to get packaging that would make sense economic wise, and to stay to those values is always a challenge. When you develop a product, you have to. If that's one of my core things, which is why I say I'm a people, planet, profit, and I also have purpose-driven type business. So for me, and anybody who when I picture things, I go, oh, you know, you're very strict about packaging because really that's the core thing I start off with because that's one of the things that I won't compromise. So I know it's challenging. Like I could probably show this because I've been having challenges where people may not necessarily buy something, and I can understand as well because it's a tube. But it's actually a glass tube. So I mean, people want to see the first thing that is actually like a kind of thing that they can squeeze out, but then I have it like this. But it was because I was having problems to get bottles. I've since gotten like these small little neat bottles. You can also sell
Right.
them in tins. And people do also do wooden some not wooden paper type tubes for things. So there are other ways, and so you have to keep thinking of. But also is also I mean the availability sometimes in the local market. And if you're now
Mm-hmm.
testing a product out, you may not be able to buy the amount in bulk say at a lower price or to be able to import it into the country yourself. So the packaging is always an additional challenge when you're trying to be eco-friendly.
So this brings me to my next question, right? Should Antibago invest more in sustainable products? Because I know some people, as I asked the question before, some people actually are really slow and they have this perception about sustainable and these kind of products that it's not effective or it's not good enough. We have to find a brand name that something that is out there all the time. Um, should it's sometimes it's like a culture. That's how the culture is. Should we invest more in it?
Definitely when you link it to being in an island living, I mean, what's happening with climate change in terms of the water levels rising? I think people seen it this year where you might be enjoying. I'm enjoying the rain and the cooler weather personally, but my fear is that it's going to be really hot when it's supposed to be raining later on, or it's gonna get even hotter than it was supposed to be in that lower times of the, like at August, you might have a every day with dry sun like it's supposed to
Mm-hmm.
be in March. So with climate change and small islands, small developing states too, they're really more susceptible to all of these things. And if you don't have money coming in from tourism, a lot of the islands in the Caribbean depend on that. So it's really important for us. I mean, that's why I know he's telling but it's why I name it My Beach, My Water. I mean, more was a personal journey for me as well, but it's really for people to understand that it's their place, that they need to be responsible for it. And so it's really critical in the Caribbean for people to care about the environment. I think in Trinidad, I mean, and I came from Petrotrin, right? But people tend to now, when I worked at Petrotrin, I would always say that we had environmental controls. I mean, I didn't have a problem doing what I was doing because I knew I was trying to do it environmentally responsibly. I was always people who know me from then know that the kind of I would work very closely with people
Mm-hmm.
in the health, safety, and environmental groups to, as much as when you're doing something, do it in a sound way environmentally. But in Trinidad, too, people sort of tend to think that they're not dependent on tourism, so that they're probably not as responsible for everything that's happening in the environment. But it's sad because Trinidad also has a lot of room for ecotourism, and like the swamp. We was just talking about the swamp in one of the pictures and stuff. But it's really a piece of a rainforest that broke out from Venezuela and ended up here, like kind of thing. And there's so much of room for doing that kind of ecotourism to be well, part of the diversification in the economy. So it's something that we should be taking seriously in Trinidad as well. And I mean, I guess Tobago is, and you actually see it in the work that I'm doing in
Mm-hmm.
Tobago. People are more serious about doing things. And if you go and you see the kind of businesses that happen in Tobago, you'll see where they know because it's tourism is their bread basket. So
I glad that you mentioned the point that we live here and we must take care of where we live. So I really glad you made that point, right? Um, let's think about the future, young persons, students. What advice would you give to students who would like to pursue sustainable entrepreneurship?
I think that there is a lot of scope for it in the future, or now as well. I mean, it's becoming the thing even now. I mean, I think it's already something that is a mainstream enough. But definitely in the future, it will be really what businesses are about. I mean, and even when I talk about people, planet, profit type businesses, and businesses that are social entrepreneurship type businesses that like you're for profit, but you're still doing social good. I mean, if you see what's going on, everybody jumped in to have some eco packaging and to be doing good. I mean, it's already changing big time. There's this company called TerraCycle that's been driving a lot of change with people, like so big corporates and conglomerates and stuff are coming on now as well. So I think it's just how business is going to be in the future. I mean, I've always been trying to get people who graduate and we get to come on with me and say, look, we will work out a relationship. I will give you 5% or 10% or whatever we work out to do so and so things. And people in Trinidad, I find I need to sort of learn to work more. Our graduates and stuff out of UWI, UTT, or other places,
Mm-hmm.
to work with sweat equity and join startups and things because I find it totally exciting. I mean, when I graduated from school, it wasn't a thing. And I've been trying to get people to come on. I mean, I've met people who studied natural sunscreen and stuff in school, or the comparisons and thing of it. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
know that you want to get a salary, but if you're not working, I say to them, well, come and work with me for a while, let's do something together, we will develop something. And but so that kind of mindset has to change with young people. I find working with them so far. People have to understand that you could go and work and get a salary, but you're going to get some other value out of it in the meantime.
Um, I really glad that you mentioned and the advice that you gave. I really like that advice, and I think students should take advantage of this area, especially that we live in an island, Tobago and Trinidad, and we should take care of our environment because one, we want to be comfortable where we live, and two, we want the environment to be there for our future generations, right? Um, the time really flies so fast because the hour is almost really here. So
Right.
let's get into the last point that we want to get into. And it's a touchy topic. Right now, this our society trying to focus on that topic. Um, I see the WTO is actually trying to push that as well, which is restarting tourism, right?
Right.
We actually people comment and tell us that they find the tourism industry is dead. People have all sorts of comment. They just don't have any belief in the industry anymore because of COVID. Things couldn't happen. The beaches were locked down. Certain things happened, right? So um
Yeah.
we start in tourism. What do you think?
These um I think it's really challenging. I know at times I was trying to come
Mm-hmm.
up, but I don't I mean I work the good thing with my what I do it seems is like I work in so many different areas that overlap. So I'm not like mainstream only tourism because I what I said to people too when I pitch my beaches lifestyle thing. The same way with eco, you wanted to show that it's not just tourism in that this case. And that will go for any person in a business, especially in this time of the world with COVID affecting businesses. It's good to have like a diverse kind of place you're coming from. Just like if we say, we want to diversify the economy in Trinidad as well. My business is kind of like I say to people, it's healthy, sustainable island living, but I sell my things to Trinidadians as well. Because at this
Mm-hmm.
stage, you don't have people coming from other countries here unless somebody in a lockdown. The market is like a lot of people who like, in other words, they can't leave the country. Most of them would probably have Trinidadian roots and they here. But in terms of that, it's really tough. I was trying to think of ideas, though, that how you can have tourism going in the major part of lockdown. Like how I did the giveaway and I showed the beach series. You can kind
Right.
of get, but it's really hard. I mean, I was thinking even of like using virtual reality and all this augmented reality. I know
Mm-hmm.
somebody won a prize for Korea recently. They had an augmented reality competition, and I think the name of the company is Room. So some of those things that we have scope where you have to kind of find a way, but it's always hard to monetize that. You might have to do it free first, but to find experiences that people can somehow feel that they're there, but they can't physically go. That is something that if you could capture, it could be a stream of revenue during COVID. And other than that, also people try to have like smaller experiences. But if you can't fly, so then okay, so you have to have products that people, tangible products that you can sell to people to give them
Right.
a taste of the place. So I know that when they planted these platform, they were trying for Carnival to do these Carnival boxes. It didn't happen in time, but they're still trying to work on the boxes for a year-long box now, where local artisans and entrepreneurs could put things like lotions and foods and stuff and export it.
Mm-hmm.
And the carnival bands were part of that, you're getting their list of people who would normally come to play with mass. They would have the list of the people who buy costumes and things from them, so that could be the distribution list. So you really have to find innovative ways to get the tourism experience exported, which is not straightforward.
All right. Thanks so much for that answer. Um, I know I'll give the participants some time to ask some questions. So guys, the floor is open to ask questions to Babita. Um, guys, feel free.
Let me see if I have.
Go ahead, Satish.
All right, good afternoon, guys. Not necessarily a question. I just want to say, Babita, I met you at the UE cafeteria a couple years ago, and I just want to say that from where you started to now, you really come a really long way. And I just want to say as well that I used some of your products before, and they are actually really good products. I actually have two of the My Beach My Water reusable bags, and I think I have like since I met you in 2017, so that's a really long time ago.
All
And
right.
also the sunscreen. So I want to talk about the sunscreen because I know back then you mentioned that um, sunscreen that we normally buy tend to have a lot of harmful effects on the environment, and the ones that you normally carry a little bit. I think you said it doesn't really affect the environment as much. So
Right, yeah.
could you just let us know? So like, what exactly do you use in your sunscreen that is different from the average sunscreen?
Well, my sunscreen is a natural sunscreen, so it doesn't have the chemicals that would have harmful impacts on the corals, which is research has started to show. A lot of people identify that, and a lot of the mainstream sunscreens had chemicals in it that there are two particular really long name chemicals were identified that were bleaching corals. And once you go into the water, it was going to go into the water and cause harm to the corals. And they were actually banned in parts of California and Hawaii early on. And then it started to take over to other parts of the world. The typical natural sunscreen is what my one has as the main is this product to protect you from the sun is zinc oxide based. So there are a lot of natural sunscreens on the market now since that ban that would follow the zinc oxide model. My one is, I mean, everybody does their own plan. My one, I think, is just like, people like the smell, the texture. People like that is not greasy. One of the positive things, it doesn't leave what people call the white mark on your skin when you apply it. It's currently not waterproof, but I'm working on incorporating not beeswax, because I prefer to go with the vegan stuff. So I'm looking at soy wax to make a waterproof one. But in waterproof too, when people tell you something is waterproof, think about it, it's kind of almost like Teflon on your skin. How are you going to keep something really waterproof if you're in the ocean? It have to be really chemicals, almost like attaching to your skin. And I think it's not, I mean, no, none of those ones that say they're so waterproof, probably not as waterproof as they claim. But that's something I'm working on. It's good that you talk about UE, because before COVID, I had plans of continuing to be more on campus. I mean, we don't have, classes in session physically anymore, but I was also planning to talk with students about, and some of the people who did research in the chemistry departments and that kind of thing, to do a test to verify the sun protection, the SPF factor of my sunscreen. But from knowing what zinc oxide does and the other oils and stuff I have in there, it should be about 45 SPF. And one of the things I always want to say thanks to, because I know when I was on campus, you saw us like send information, like messages to people in the tourism society and stuff to come and, to tell people that I was there and that I was selling stuff. And so thanks for that.
Anyone else has any questions?
Hi, Alex and Babita. Leslie Ann here. Not so much a question, but just a comment, Babita. I think I would have first heard about you through my friend Marianne Hossein from Three Circles Energy. Babita, I think she either into right. And I like how you talk about those 3 Ps, the people, planet, and profits. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Yeah, people, planet, and profits. And I think it's important for that message, to resonate with our tourism students. I'm one of the lecturers in the tourism program, so that we'll certainly want you to talk to perhaps a wider group of students about that philosophy of blending those 3 Ps, which I think is really so critical. So what advice would you give in terms of now, like, curriculum development? How could we get our students, I suppose, more involved, more conscious about so many of the issues that you would have discussed this evening?
Well, I guess people covered in some of the things might be like a broader perspective of, because I'm not intimate with the whole curriculum they currently have. So like I can't critique it to some extent, like to know what is not there and what should be there. But I think that just because I'm on my own personal journey with the stream being a place where everything can meet to sort of be a solution to things, I think that more and more in the world, people being more cross-disciplined. So maybe if you're not like the best at science or something, but you would probably first of all, as you notice that I can understand and grasp some of the issues. Like when somebody says, say, like natural sunscreen is better because these chemicals affect the water and the corals. If you could, you may not understand the details, you're not going to do a whole paper on it, but it's good to understand about the different areas. And the same way if somebody's in a science background, to understand maybe about the socio-economics, and that's important because not just economics, socio, because a lot of my journey, like when I started to sell in markets, I understand what artisans do and the kind of lifestyle that they have and how difficult it is. And so for me, in my own personal journey, because of a practical case not learning in school, I really didn't have that kind of appreciation as somebody working in engineering for so many years, as how difficult it is to be an artisan. So now, through experience, I know. But like my fine students in other areas wouldn't know about the socioeconomics, and as opposed to somebody studying social sciences and stuff who would look at the impacts of people and how it affects them. And so I think for sure having like more course disciplines in stuff would make better solutions on the whole in the university setting. The people, planet, profit journey in my case is how it impacted me as a person in terms of my personal safety. But yeah, again, there's the whole socioeconomics of it. Then so it's people and planet, and then profit, because I want to do this for a living, so I want to make profit. I don't want that I have to go and ask somebody to give me a handout before I can do this. And I don't like the whole questioning of it as well. I don't like that people then have to make sure I'm being transparent and they want to know how I got this car and how I got this, So I want to do my own thing. I want to be independent doing it. So that's just many things. I guess too. I know that UWI is trying some stuff. I mean, because of my little experience when I was working at Korea in early 2019 and being on campus, that the guild and stuff had that thing where entrepreneurs were in the JFK auditorium selling stuff. So definitely for all graduates nowadays, entrepreneurship, because if they don't have the jobs out there, people really have to become more entrepreneurial than ever before and do their own businesses.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Guys, anybody else has any other question? Don't be shy. Well, if we don't have any other questions, right? Babita, your business is so interesting. Like what you do is just for as a student myself, I will like to learn about it. Like your products, your 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 plans for the future, how you go about doing things, the 3 Ps that Dr. Jordan Miller just talked about.
Yeah.
It is really interesting, and I wish we had more time. That right now, that's the thing I eating at me right now. Just wish we had more time to discuss because it's really interesting. It's actually getting into some of the products like the bamboo products and stuff, the reusable bags. It's just really interesting to even get into and let people out there be aware that
Yeah.
you don't only have to buy these expensive um stuff that is full of chemicals and stuff and that is not sustainable or good for the environment. There are ways and there are products out there that we actually can use and benefit from, right? So I just want to thank you for actually coming on the show today. Um, was really interesting, and I sure everybody was really educated. The responses was really on point. Satish, do you have a question?
Yes, don't forget to drop the social media handles so we can find you on Instagram and Facebook. Just let us know how we can find you.
Okay, so it's My Beach My Water on Instagram. If you search for My Beach My Water on Facebook, you'll also find it under that. And I have a website as well, which is mybeachmywater.com. And I'm also on the Plantain Seeds website.
So thank you for that because I think the more people social media are really is the place to be right now, honestly, to
Yeah.
get the exposure. And I was just looking to your Instagram page and I found it really interesting. Like it's a page I will really like to go to and really look at your products and even look at your podcast as well. Guys, she has a podcast, Thinking Tuesdays. So she's actually exploring certain things. So I think guys, you should tune in and listen to her and listen what she has to offer and what she has to say. Um, Bavita, thank you again. Today was really interesting. Your responses were jam-packed in terms of information. That when the people present, the persons present, they can walk away with something new, something to actually spread and let people know that yes, this business, my beach, my water exists, and this is what they offer. And and for me, I feel proud in a sense as somebody studying tourism that a business like this exists, right? Where we can actually have a, a, a safer, healthy lifestyle and still have the profit and still have development and still have the industry going forward, right? So thank you again. And I will bring this meeting to a close. So thank you guys who attended this meeting today. We really appreciate it as a society. We are really trying to actually inform and educate persons about the industry as we push for a resilient and sustainable recovery, right? So thank you guys and good evening.